Hello, everyone. My name is Karan Ahuja. I am the Chief Information Officer with Global Impact Collective, and this is the first of our video series. The purpose of this video series is to help you guys learn more about GIC and also to learn more about our members and what we do, so that if you all would like to join Global Impact Collective, we would like to enable that option for you guys. So, just to give a quick introduction, Global Impact Collective is a nonprofit organization that was started by six Purdue alumni, and our main purpose is to spread good across the world. And good can have a definition which is different for everyone. So for us, it's more of three things that we would like to do. One is pro bono consulting, which means we'd like to help other nonprofit organizations with any of the day-to-day operations. That can be social media, websites, it can be grant writing, it can be helping them with their tax laws, anything of that kind. The other thing that we help out with is GIC projects, which is more like if you have a project and if you would like to do something in your community and do some good, you can contact us and we can help you achieve that goal and execute that project. And the last one is our goal is to build a global network of people who are really excited about giving back to the society so that we can have that forum and enable you all to meet other people who are as passionate as you all and start a project. So, without wasting any more time, our first video is going to be with our president and CEO, Mr. Dave Andrews. I've got Dave with me today, and we'll be doing this Google Hangout with other members too. So, let's go ahead and get started. Dave, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to our viewers?
Great. Thank you very much, Karan. I'm really excited to be here. My name is Dave Andrews. I'm the president and CEO of Global Impact Collective. Currently live in Miami, Florida. I'm a teacher by day. I teach government and economics, and I've started Global Impact Collective with Karan and a few other of my fellow Purdue alumni, and I'm looking forward to a fun conversation today.
Awesome. Thanks, Dave. So I guess can you talk a little more about your current role at GIC? What got you what idea got you motivated to start GIC, and how have things changed in the past year since we all started GIC?
Sure, I'd love to. Well, I think that starting GIC was sort of an outlet for me and for all of us in order to we saw some issues within the organizations that we were in. There was always that person in the group who was kind of detracting or was the pessimist and trying to take away from what was the momentum and the energy and what was going on. And so we wanted to start a group that could kind of avoid that in some regards and hopefully just be able to focus on really bringing good into this world. So that's kind of why we started GIC. Now, seeing that we've
Can I
been
interrupt you there? Can you tell us a little more about the trip that you had with Ben Aldridge and how things got started from there?
Yeah, absolutely. So Ben and I went on a trip to Niagara Falls, and this was in February of 2011, and we decided that we were going to take a weekend getaway, sort of have this cathartic experience where we just kind of get away from the rigors of academia and really just enjoy nature for a little bit. And while on this trip, we decided to plan out this new organization that kind of would be going after good in the world and would have the best, most qualified, the most passionate, the most impactful, and the most happy members to accomplish that with.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What I would like to do is, like I said at the beginning of the video, is everyone has a different definition for good. So since you actually started the organization and the idea, how do you define good?
Yeah, that's a great question, John. I think there is first off there is no definition for good. I mean, Merriam-Webster might disagree with me, but there isn't a definition for good. I think that for me it comes down to happiness and being able to spread happiness and bring happiness to people, whatever that may look like,
Mhm.
is really my motivating factor. And so good to me means that if we can accomplish happiness in the world or help people to be happier, I think that that's good. If we can make our lives happier, I think that that's good. And I think that by working together in GIC and we have such a talented, passionate group of individuals. I think that happiness is a major part of what we do every day. And I think that that really helps fulfill our mission of accomplishing good just by being happy every day.
Wow, fantastic. That's amazing. Thanks, Dave. That was awesome. I guess what I would like to go on to next would be you had this initial vision for GIC, like you said. You went on a trip with Ben. You want to start something. What has changed significantly since you started, and how's that vision really changed to where we are today?
Yeah. Well, there's been a lot of changes. That's why I'm smiling, and all for the better, right? They're all for the better. We've learned a lot in this past year and a half about what works and kind of what doesn't work. And we realized fairly quickly that this idea that I didn't want a lot of structure in this organization. People will know me within the organization as being the guy that's always like, well, I don't want a lot of rules and a lot of structure, and I don't want to constrain what we're trying to do. I want people to be free and empowered. Mm-hmm. And so we realized that, yes, that's a good thing, but at the same time, we have to kind of couple that with some sort of structure, especially considering the fact that our members are located all across the world. It makes it a little bit more difficult if you don't have a structured role, if you don't have a structured opportunity within the organization. It's kind of a little more difficult to know your place. So definitely that's one of the things that has been changed. Our focus has kind of been changed to create more structure within our organization so that we can better serve people and create good in the world. Another thing that I think has changed is the fact that we are a registered corporation now in Florida. We're in the process of getting our tax exempt status. I guess we're becoming more legitimate in many ways in a legal sense. And that ultimately is going to help us be able to serve more organizations in terms of financial funding, in terms of resources that we can provide them at events and opportunities that they're planning. By us becoming the next level in terms of legitimacy, that I think that's really translated into something we're going to be able to pass on to our clients that we work with.
That's awesome, Dave. That's fantastic. I had a couple of follow-up questions to what you just said.
Sure.
I think it would be great for our viewers to better understand how we do projects. And I think, as you mentioned, we have members all across the U.S. and we have a member now in India too. So can you tell us more about how many members are there now and where are they located? And maybe give an example of a project as to how we coordinate our efforts to better serve the people, like, for example, Kids Connection Haiti.
Sure. A lot of good stuff there to talk about, and I'll start with how our members are spread out. We have diversified ourselves geographically across the world, as you mentioned, and I think it's a real benefit for us in the fact that we get a diversity of opinions and a diversity of locations, but it also becomes this real opportunity or challenge, if you will, to kind of structure how we're going to do these projects. Mm-hmm. So let me just give you an example with Kids Connection Haiti. You mentioned this is a nonprofit organization that provides educational services for students who are post-high school, job training, perhaps looking to go to college or to get an associate's degree, something of that nature in Haiti, where the education system is just not very effective. So in order for us to help out, we've done a variety of different things. We've taken a look at their website. Karan, I know you did a lot of work with that, helping to redesign, revamp that, adding a donations tab so people can directly donate and they don't have this issue of having to send checks or having to manipulate money with their hands. They can actually just go online. You can send people to your website, and that's increased donations to Kids Connection Haiti. Well, the way that we split up our work is that we kind of just ask, what are you interested in doing to our members? We ask them this question. And we let them decide what they're passionate about and where their skill set lies, so that we're not forcing work upon anyone. In fact, people are very motivated and want to do all of this. Mm-hmm. That's one of the beautiful things about GIC is that everybody wants to do what they're doing. And if they don't, we wouldn't be here. So I hope that gives some insight to your question. I don't know if I answered it specifically.
No, definitely. That helps a lot. And I think that brings up a great point about the culture within GIC. As you mentioned, you're trying to push people to pursue their passions and what they're interested in. Can you talk more about as to how you get these projects? Because Kids Connection Haiti is one example. But when you look forward, what do we want to strive towards? Like,
Yeah.
do we ask our members to get projects based on what they're passionate about? How does that work? Do you get projects externally? Tell us more about that.
Cool. Yeah. So that's a great question. I think that first off, our members are elite, right? These people are very, very well educated. We've got doctors, we've got CPAs, we've got all sorts of professionals within their fields and very, very, very notorious within their fields. And what that does is it enables us to really make a big impact as we go into these different markets. So the question becomes, what sort of projects are we taking on and how are we able to get them? And I think that there's a variety of ways. First and foremost, it's our members, and they bring to us a variety of projects that they're interested in, they're super passionate about. On top of that, if you go on our website, globalimpactcollective.org, there's a project submission form, and actually anyone across the world can submit a project that our executive board will consider depending on the resources, the time we have, if it aligns with our mission. We take on a lot of projects that way. So there isn't just one way we go about getting a project. And if you're interested in submitting a project to us, by all means, I would just refer people watching this video to our website, globalimpactcollective.org, and click on the Get Involved with Global Impact Collective. That's going to help you be able to submit your project.
Fantastic, Dave. That's awesome. And then I guess in sake of time, I'll steer the conversation towards a different topic, which is more like how has GIC really impacted your life, both personally and professionally? You've been involved for more than a year now, and what are some things that have changed? Like, it'll be good for our viewers to understand as to how GIC has contributed to your development.
Yeah, that's a great question. I definitely have been developed by GIC. There's no doubt about it. I've changed a lot as a person because of it, and it's less of the organization and more of the people. But as you know, I think people are the organization, which is why GIC is so successful and why it's such a fun and impactful organization to work in. And I think that for me personally, I've seen in my personal life, my level of happiness, my sense of, being able to give back to the world and do good with friends, with family members, with my brothers in GIC, with all of you. It's really allowed me to build confidence, to build my leadership capacity, to build my ability to kind of reason, think through problems. And, filing for nonprofit status in the state of Florida, like that's something 2 years ago, I never would have dreamed of doing. And so just the amount of information I've learned from taking on something like that is really awesome. And now I'm able to take that information, that piece of knowledge that I had, and pass that on to another organization that we are working with in the future that maybe needs advice or guidance on, how do they become a nonprofit organization. So it's been a very fun learning process, and I really owe everything I know to the GIC members. Like, these people are phenomenal. I can't reiterate that enough. Like, they just blow my mind. At every meeting, I'm always smiling. We're on the phone talking to each other, and I'm just smiling the whole way through because the things that they say are just brilliant. So it's been a lot of fun.
Wow, that's amazing. And I guess, as we discussed earlier, we're at about 7 members now. Where do you see GIC going in the next, 1 or 2 years? And what's the long-term vision? Like, I know we've briefly spoken about this, that you would like to have a global network, but what do you think will help us get there? What do you see are our short-term goals and our long-term goals?
Well, I think we need to clarify between, who's a member of GIC and who's contributing to GIC, because they're kind of two different things. So our members are more so the people who are in the day-to-day function of GIC, and that's what you're referring to. But we also have friends of GIC, some other affiliates who work with GIC that have really impacted what we're able to do and have helped us to increase this level of good in the world. And so I think that in the next few years, we're going to harness those individuals who want to, for lack of a better term, volunteer or become friends of GIC. We're going to harness their energy and their drive to do good in the world, and we're going to help them succeed more on a global scale. So I see our impact actually spreading extremely throughout the United States, throughout other certain countries. We've talked about projects in Nicaragua, and Honduras, and Haiti, and India, and of course projects in the United States, and most recently, Karan, you've been working with Kids Connection Haiti in Canada. So I think that our impact goes well beyond just our members and our friends and our network. That really is, if not more, important for what we do in this work. So absolutely.
Amazing. And I think that leads in really well into my next question is what advice would you give to our viewers who would like to get involved? I know we briefly spoke about the Get Involved tab, but I know some people have been asking a few questions that maybe I don't have the time to be involved on a day-to-day basis. So how can I volunteer? So can you talk more about the Friends of GIC and the volunteering program?
Sure, sure. First off, those people need to stop listening to the haters out there who are telling them they don't have time, or they can't do it, or they don't know what's best for this. But they got to stop drinking that haterade, and they got to get on board and contact us at GIC and let us know that they want to get involved. So we have all sorts of levels of commitment, right? You can come in and volunteer and say maybe an hour a month, and if you have a unique skill to offer, say that you're experienced in web design, well, great. It's not like we're going to have you working 40 hours a week on a project. This is something maybe you can give back, work with a specific organization when you have time. And the beauty of this network is that it really connects you with a group of very talented individuals who can kind of help develop those skills. So even if you're someone who maybe doesn't have that expertise, we still want you. We can still use you, and you can still do a lot of good in this world. But the first step is, contacting us and getting out there and actually saying, I want to help. I want to do good. I can't tell you how many people, Karan, I've come into contact with over the past 2 years. And I mentioned GIC and how we're doing good and all this. And they're like, wow, like, that's awesome. Like, I wish I could do that. And, you can, is what I would say to you, is that you absolutely can. And it's as simple as going to our website, globalimpactcollective.org, and sending us a message, getting involved, that you want to get involved with us.
That's fantastic. And I guess I'll steer the conversation to where we are ending the video, which is trying to make it more personalized. So I know we'll be interviewing other members. So what I want to do is, with the last question I want to ask you is, describe GIC in 3 words. And you can take some time to think about it, but think about those 3 words and then tell us why you selected those 3 words.
I think that this question is not as difficult as it sounds for me, because when I think of GIC, I think of its members, and I think of the people that we help. And there's some words that just come to mind, and the first one is impactful, right? It's in our mission. It's in everything that we do. We are working to impact this world, to provide good to this world. And I think that definitely would encapsulate kind of what GIC is. And all of our members, every single one, all the friends of GIC, very impactful people, extremely impactful. The second word I'd say is that happiness, right? That great good that we're all searching for and that we're all going after. GIC members are just happy, right? There's just something about us that drives us and makes us happy and makes us want to accomplish this good in this world. So happiness, I think, is a very important factor there, and it's something that we as an organization are working on increasing, every day within our organization, because that's a big driving goal of us. If our people aren't happy, then they're not doing the best that they can be. So we want to really feel like everyone's supported within our organization, so that we can increase our level of happiness and pass that on to others. And finally, I would have to say passion. I think that passion is important for everything that you do. In my travels, I talk to people about, what do you do for a living, and how do you like your job? And unfortunately, I meet a lot of people who just are not passionate about what they do. And I think that that's the opposite of GIC. When we're not passionate about something, that's not what we're pursuing. We figure out a way to go about it differently, to make ourselves more passionate, to really actually care and fully become part of it. And so impact, something that's impactful, happiness, and passionate people. I mean, those 3 words to me are GIC in a nutshell.
Awesome. That's great, Dave. So there you have it, guys. Great interview with Dave, as he described GIC and its members to be as passionate, impactful, and happy. So with that, that brings an end to our first video of this series. And what I would like to do briefly towards the end of the video is, again, recap how you guys can get involved with GIC. As Dave mentioned, you can go to our website and click on Get Involved, or you can also contact us at info at globalimpactcollective.org. To just answer one more question, which we had from one of our viewers, was how do you guys operate, given that we all are in different states and maybe we have a member in India too now. So basically what we do is we have conference calls every 2 weeks if you would like to become a member. And we discuss projects, both internal GIC projects as well as external projects with our clients. And then we have Google Hangouts so that we can get to know each other better. So location is not a problem at all. And in fact, earlier this year, all our members had a conference in Miami, which Dave kindly hosted. And it was a great way for members to meet each other face to face and get to know each other. So that's about it. So feel free to contact us. And Dave, thank you once again for all your time. Really, really appreciate it.
Hey, thank you, Karan. It's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure working with you in Global Impact Collective. Thank you.
Likewise. Thanks. Have a good one, guys.